June 25th is World Vitiligo Day, a day to shed light on an autoimmune condition that affects the pigment of someone's skin. Now, you're not born with it can happen to any race, any age, and there's no cure. Omar Sharife is a model and co-founder of Vitiligo Voices Canada, and then we're also joined by Dr. Hanna to talk about it today. Welcome. So let's start off, Dr. Hanna, can you tell me a little bit about this condition, especially for people who might be hearing about it for the first time?
Absolutely. So vitiligo is pretty common, happens in about maybe 1 to 2% of the population, maybe more. It's an autoimmune condition. You don't cause it to happen. There's nothing that people do. And what happens is that a person's immune system starts to impact on their pigment producing cells. So those cells that produce melanin, that produce the color in our skin, can't do that. It often happens in a patchy way. We'll see it starting at any age, but often starts in kids and adolescents. And over the years, we've had a variety of attempts to correct that autoimmunity, but that's been challenging up until recently, where we started to have some options.
And Omar, tell me a little bit about your experience, because vitiligo showed up in your life later in your life. You were 19, 20?
Yes. I was about 19 or 20. The first spot was a heart-shaped spot on the middle of my forehead. And at that time, I tried light treatment. I tried all of the different treatments out there. And yeah, it's been quite a long journey for me because it progressed quite slowly. And what you see on my face right now really was only probably about 5 or 6 years ago that happened. And it's a big change identity-wise for a lot of people. And for me, it was quite a challenge.
And Dr. Hanna, what is it like as talking to patients, especially when there is that diagnosis? Just because sometimes you go to a doctor, there's that expectation of, well, what do I do?
No, absolutely. I think the discussions have, for a long time, been quite challenging. Omar was just saying how it impacted and how the progression sort of challenges your sense of self and who you show to the world. There's an outsized impact of this condition in people with more richly pigmented skin because it's so visible and so initially out of someone's control. They're not doing anything to make it happen. And so, you know, for a lot, still today, even with some treatment options happening, a lot of it is about attending to somebody's emotional health, mental health, that kind of thing, because there can be challenges.
Yeah.
It's great when people can accommodate and do well and learn to live in that changing skin, but that hasn't always been easy for people. So it's nice now to be able to also offer new hope for patients as we see treatments come online.
Well, a lot of the hope comes from sharing stories. And Omar, you've shared your story about that your power has come from your ability to adapt to this diagnosis. And so at what point did that sort of shift for you? I imagine you said it was a long process, but at what point do you think you kind of came to terms with it and you found the strength in who you are?
For me, the big change was actually connecting with other people with vitiligo. I think for a long time, I struggled with the mental health journey that I was on with vitiligo, feeling like I was alone in that journey or that I wasn't sure that I was addressing it correctly. But I met a group of people in LA. It was the first time that I was in a room with 10 other people with vitiligo and realized that you know, my journey is very similar to theirs, validated all of those feelings, and it just kind of allowed me to then just kind of stop fighting it a little bit and kind of accepting it and learning to live with vitiligo.
Well, I love the momentum too, because we've seen the shift in pop culture as well. People obviously know Michael Jackson had vitiligo and spoke about that. And then for me, in 2014, when I saw America's Next Top Model and Winnie Harlow came on screen, she's Canadian, and that was just such an amazing moment of raising awareness and sharing that story. You've done it now, and there's a summit that's going to be happening. And can you tell me a little bit about the power of visibility, especially as you continue to kind of advocate and share more stories out there?
Yeah, I think in the same way that when I was able to connect with other people and hear their story, I think other people feel exactly the same way. Being able to see somebody else hold their head up and walk confidently is super, super powerful to somebody else with vitiligo, but also just hearing their journey, like I said, like I did with the people that I met in LA, being able to relate
Yeah.
So important.
And the summit that's going to be happening, that's going to continue that, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so in terms of that summit, can you tell me a little bit about it, as well as Lit for Vit that's going to be happening?
Yeah, so it is the very first World Vitiligo Day event in Canada, so that's super, super exciting. That's happening today at the Mars Center. And then Lit for Vit is a campaign that started in the US, where essentially they were lighting up landmarks in purple, which is the color of awareness for vitiligo. Here in Canada, we've got 35 landmarks lighting up today, right from the East Coast all the way to the West Coast, including CN Tower and Science World in Vancouver.
Well, Omar, thank you for sharing your very personal story. And Dr. Hanna, thank you so much for coming in and shedding more light. And it is so important to have everything that you're doing, and it's absolutely amazing and admirable. And I look forward to continuing to share your story and to watch it grow.
Thank you
So much. All right, we'll be right back on Global News.